everyone, and welcome to an apple a day. We're going to go ahead and get right into our 5-minute meditation. I am making changes to move me forward. I take care of myself as I heal. I rise back up every time I fall. I am allowed to want a better life. I have faith in my heart's healing ability. I know that no matter what, I am okay. I am learning from today and tomorrow that it will be easier. I look forward to a fresh start tomorrow. Looking back, I was always stronger than I felt. I know that better times are right around the corner. I am confident in my ability to cope with my life. I smile through the pain because I know better days are coming. I give myself permission to feel happy again. I nurture myself as I heal. I release past traumas in the name of healing. I am in control of how I think, feel, and behave. I emerge from this like a beautiful butterfly from its cocoon. I love myself through tough times too. I deserve the same compassion I give others. I allow myself to be taken care of just as I take care of others. I ride out the bad days to the better days ahead. I find the bright light of hope on the darkest of days. I am only now discovering how strong I am. I am tougher than I know. I am strong and brave, even when I'm scared. I turn to my family and friends when I feel overwhelmed. I find peace by realizing that yesterday doesn't exist anymore. I'm a survivor and a winner. I am physically and emotionally capable. I accept that some days are more challenging than others. I am brave enough to make difficult decisions. I take this one moment at a time. I am wise enough to find a solution to my problems. I am much stronger than I realized. I am always surrounded by family and friends who love and support me. I am filled with hope and confidence. I am proving to myself just how strong I am. I accept that my heart feels empty and needs to be refilled with love. I summon the fortitude to deal with my current situation. I understand that it is okay to feel sad. I am doing the best I can with the skills, tools, and resources I have. I deserve to move past difficult times and into a brighter future. I persevere despite external circumstances. I am capable of so much more than I gave myself credit for. I am creating happier moments. I am not my problems. I am my solutions. And that will do it for our 5-minute meditation. Let's go ahead and get right into the episode topic. Hello. It is a day here. And we're going to get right into our episode topic question. This week's question has to do with the previous 2 episodes with healing and recovery from illness and loss. So this week's episode topic question is, what steps do you take? What steps did you take? And what steps will you take to heal? So 3 different versions: do, did, and will. Present, past, present, and future. As I mentioned to you guys, I was on a basically half-year hiatus because I was just dealing with so much at once, and there was a lot of negative just being thrown into my life, and I did not really feel I wouldn't even say I didn't feel like sharing. It was just so overwhelming at the time to even be able to like get on here. And I know that this is a cathartic form of therapy and healing for myself. But I also understand that when you're in the midst of chaos, sometimes it's very, very hard to see where there's going to be order. When you're in the midst of darkness, it's very hard sometimes to see where there is light. When you're in the midst of suffering, it's very hard to see when there will be relief in any way, form, or fashion. I would say that even if I wasn't going to be uploading podcast during that time, which I didn't, I definitely needed to make sure I was talking to someone, and I did. I talked to those that their actions or words were affecting me, but I also vented as well. But having this intimacy of just basically an out loud journal, just talking about dealing with life, talking about healing, I didn't need to give that up. As I said, there were multiple times before I came back from this hiatus that, you know, I had already written out episodes and they were ready to be recorded. I have like a general guideline of, you know, the order of things for each episode, my question that I'm going to ask, bullet points of what I want to touch on in the podcast episode. And, you know, those are all written, those were all done. As I mentioned, previous episodes, I have the next several episodes already planned. I do say that I wish that I wouldn't have stopped, but at the same time, from what was going on and what I was feeling, the only thing that I could do at the moment and at the time was to just write it down, you know, know what I want to talk about when it's time for me to pick up the mic again or recorder again and, you know, make my episodes come back. So even though I was not releasing, I was releasing because I knew what I needed to talk about. I wrote it down. I gave order to where there was chaos in my life and in my mind. And in my mind, I just mean just thinking about everything all at once and not knowing where or when or how to start unpacking it so that it can be talked about. So that's essentially what I did. What I'm doing is I'm being present. As you guys might know, I did not release an episode last week, honestly, because it was multiple things, really. But I kind of just did not feel like releasing an episode last week. I think the last episode was pretty heavy. It was like right on the 1 hour mark, and I usually try to do this in like 45 or so. Try to make it max an hour. That's without guests. I do still take into account, you know, things will come up again, but I understand a better way of going about fixing this thing. And I wouldn't even say, because I didn't necessarily let it get to that point. You know, I did communicate my wants, my needs, my worries of things as they affected me. But I guess I would be more thing that would be changing is I would be more strict about boundaries, for instance. There's a lot in terms of waiting for things to happen and waiting for others to, you know, make it happen for you or fix things that I realize is it's an expectation that you put onto others, and I feel like at times it can be an unfair expectation, especially if you do not vocalize it. For me, being vocal but being respectful is like a big thing, and I just want to be more transparent moving forward about those kinds of things. I can't really say that I'm doing what I feel like I should have done the past couple of months, really. I would just say I'm doing now what I was mentally preparing to do while going through everything. As I mentioned, there's sometimes where like you can't do things in the moment when, you know, the chaos is happening. Sometimes it takes you like building up the mental fortitude to be able to say, okay, I need to be able to do XYZ in this order so that I can move forward or I can do what I need to do in life. What I will be doing moving forward, I mentioned, is, you know, just being more strict with my boundaries, being more vocal about things. I grew up generally very, very quiet to myself, so definitely understanding that I need to do that is going to make a difference. especially when it comes to something that's important, like your own feelings. Your own feelings are important. Your own thoughts are important. Um, be vocal, but also it's like be respectful about it. Um, my next aspect of this episode is another question, and it's how will you gauge the effectiveness of the steps that you're taking? Right? Um, this is a really good follow up to like each stage of what you did, what you're doing, what you will do. Because if you're just doing something but it's not really having an effect, like the same thing happens. For example, I get too overwhelmed. It's like I can't do the things I really want to do. I can't voice my opinions and stuff like that. You can't really say that, it wouldn't be logical to continue to do those things if it's not really helping. So I feel like there's an emotional aspect of like the response that people can consider or should consider when they're asking this question to themselves. One would be speaking. As I mentioned, being vocal, especially for me, introverted and grew up very quiet. In some ways, I would say. I grew up kind of invisible to an extent. But definitely what you say and how you speak it is definitely very, very important. Especially when you're communicating things that are important to you, especially when it comes to communicating your feelings, your thoughts, how things affect you, whether someone is doing something intentionally or non-intentionally. Things they say or do can still hurt you. And at times, you need to understand that what you ask of them is more or less to take accountability for their actions or behaviors. Now, this can get, I feel, kind of like a he said, she said, because it's one of those things where you could go into saying, well, you made me feel like this way, but that's not the person's intention to make you feel that way. And granted, that's, it may not be the case that they made you feel that way on purpose. They still made you feel some type of way. For any friendship, relationship, any relationship in general, again, platonic or romantic or whatever case may be, it's important to acknowledge the roles that people have in your life and their pull on your emotions. If your partner, for example, says or does something that makes you feel some type of way, it's not going to be in your best interest to just sweep it under the rug and just continue to feel that way without letting your partner know. It can breed and make you harbor resentment towards them. And if you never tell them, exactly how you feel, again, open, honest, but respectful when you're talking to them, how will they ever know that what they said or how they said it hurt you? So it's really important to keep that in mind. I'll definitely be speaking more kindness onto myself and even onto others. I'm very much a firm believer in exuding positivity, but also bringing positivity into the world. And it's going to be very, very hard to do that if you can't even speak well of yourself. A very common thing to hear is that it's hard for you to love someone else if you do not love yourself, and that is kind of the same mentality behind that. You should be able to speak life and kindness into your own life, into yourself, so that you're able to speak it onto others. That in general just helps create a positive environment for not just yourself but for others. And overall, it's not going to hurt you to say kind things to yourself or to others. Now, there is a time and place for everything, but kindness has opened more doors for people than others may like to recognize. And I think that's a really important thing to keep in mind. For me, I feel as though me being myself authentically, I haven't had to jump through hoops to be in a room with somebody or talk to somebody or anything like that. I just am myself, and the opportunities and the things that come with it are part of my kindness, part of what I exude in terms of energy into the world. So it's important to speak life into yourself so that you can speak it into others and into the world. If for nothing else, it will make your environment a lot healthier, a lot warmer, and overall just increase your comfort. Again, if nothing else, to do it for the benefit of making the world a better place for you. Thinking wise, I'm an overthinker. You guys, I believe I talked about that quite a bit on here, and I don't want to say that I don't overthink anymore, because that's, far from the truth, but I don't overthink needlessly. The individuals that are in my life, they typically act a certain way consistently. Inconsistency is what will, lead it one way or another that you don't actually understand how to go about interacting with others. But I do try my best to proceed with logic, even within my emotions. If I know something's not in character for someone, then even if, I've watched multiple other people have experience outside of myself, if that's not the case for my person, my partner, the individual that I'm referring to in any given situation, it's wrong, I feel like, to go and assume XYZ about them, or how they're going to interact, or how they're going to respond, or how they're going to think. Communicate openly, honestly, respectfully. And when you're able to do so, it makes, again, if for nothing else, life just gets easier for you when you do these things. If nothing else, if nothing else, make life easier for you. If it's not out of concern or betterment of others in the world, even if you want to look at it selfishly, it can be of benefit to you personally. Another aspect of the effectiveness is so my daily schedule, right? How are you going to measure the effectiveness of the steps you're taking? You do take, and will take to heal. I feel like this can be reflected in your daily scheduling. So, maintenance task of your person. So, a lot of people don't necessarily like to talk about it, but when you are depressed, or when you're going into a depression-like state or exhibiting depression-like behavior, beyond doing the things you're regularly supposed to do, like in a house, whatever, the biggest sign is that you neglect self. So here on my podcast, we're about self-improvement, self-healing, self-discovery, but also part of my brand is self-care, mental health awareness, part of understanding you're not in the best of health mentally is seeing in what ways that you neglect self. A very big way is neglect of hygiene, right? So it could literally be as simple as not taking showers on a consistent basis anymore, or a decrease in showers overall. So let's say in a week you shower every day, maybe it decreases to every other day. Maybe it decreases even further to like, once every 3 days kind of thing. Not, getting up at a reasonable hour, staying in, sleeping in, beyond like just being regularly tired, just being in bed to be in bed kind of thing. Not really keeping up with routines. So like, brushing your teeth in the morning, washing your face, making your bed. It can be even like as simple as like not really having regular meals, or depriving yourself in some type of way. I won't go into detail about things that have affected me, like the specifics, but definitely hygiene is one that it's very easy to go down the gutter when you're in a depressed like state, or when you're just like, it's essentially like feeling like even the person that matters the most to you, which is yourself kind of thing, you don't even have the energy to take care of you and make sure that you're good. So it is going to be very, very hard to extend and take care of anybody else. Or it could also be that like you do take care of others, but you neglect self. So within this, like for me, I created, long time coming, but my own skincare brand called You Oughta Care, YOOADACARE. It will be like LinkedIn, podcast, and everything from here on out since I've actually mentioned it now, but I will get more into like foundation and creation of it. But I've created it now, and like it has the emphasis of self-care, and you know, it starts with hygiene, because sometimes that is the most basic thing that we can do when we're not feeling really all that well, or we're in that depressed state, or in a depressed like manner, or just chronically depressed. uh Hygiene is still important, self-care is still important, so that is the foundation of uh my uh natural skincare brand. uh and because I'm within healthcare, uh and I understand the importance of understanding mental health, understanding health overall, uh and what aspects play into like your mental state and you being able to take care of self. um this is my brand is skincare meets healthcare, uh in general. But uh I remember when I first started like doing uh like I guess concocting different methods to treat my acne growing up, which was like the biggest killer of my confidence. And in ways it did make me, not like myself. uh I really don't want to say hate myself, because I never fully hated myself, but was like right on cusp of just, I didn't like, for example, I didn't want to be seen in pictures. So like I don't have that many pictures outside from, our family like birthdays where we always take pictures of each other, sing happy birthday and stuff like that. Um Outside of that, we I don't have many pictures of that time, because my confidence at that point was just shot. And this is my skincare brand is like an offshoot um of the idea of me looking to natural remedies, because I didn't have a job till I was like 21. And my dad was not paying for an Proactiv or anything like that, because we all had acne, and like paying for like multiple kits, that it wasn't gonna work out. So we innovate, we create, and that's led to my skincare brand, um, mainly selling soap, amongst other products, which you can look at in the description of the podcast. I will be leaving a link there, to check it out. But as I mentioned, I'll go more into detail about the foundation of uh, my skincare brand, everything that it means to me, what I hope to do with it, some things that I hope to do with it moving forward, and why it's super important for even this brand being tied with my podcast, because it is a big aspect of what I preach and talk about, um, which is self care, self love, uh, you know, understanding the importance of mental health, and mental health being part of healthcare, being part of your overall health, because it does affect you. Um, those things. Uh, yeah, that is that's the intro to my skincare brand. But yeah, hygiene is definitely one that's like not talked about as much, but is like one of the biggest things that is neglected. Um, as you move throughout life, and it's very easy to neglect other things that have to do with self, when I guess, for lack of a term, you don't care about self. um, so yeah, that is this week's spiel on healing from this recovery, of illness, and healing after loss. A reminder that it does start with you, and from you you can spread and branch out and, affect others. So to end this episode, we're going to state 3 good things. So 3 good things. It's Friday. I do have a job at this point. I won't go into too much detail with it, but I have a job, got paid today. It's bi-weekly pay. Big factor that I've mentioned previously that affected me was financial insecurity. I have some financial security now, not a lot, not a ton, but it's better than nothing, and I will take that as we move forward, individually, relationship wise. Like, it does affect relationships in general. It's like one of the biggest things that has a factor to do with breaking up of friendships, etc., etc. Another good thing is I'm playing video games with my friends again. I've been, for the past couple months, really since all this stuff has happened, I haven't really been playing video games or anything like that. It's like my main pastime. With anybody else, it's just kind of be me solo dolo. Mainly on Overwatch. But now I'm in a group with the friends that I made when I was living in Louisiana, and we're in a little group and we play Pokemon Unite together, and it's lovely. And with all my friendships, it's more than just, the surface of like what it is that we're doing. It goes deeper than that. These are people that are lifelong friends for me, and we're able to talk about, real deep stuff, how it affects us, how we move and heal and grow from it. My third good thing, I would say, I guess, with my job, being able to increase my financial stability. I got new clothes. Something small for other people, but I haven't had new clothes in 2 years, 3 years maybe. Obviously getting a piece here and there, but like actually like expanding the wardrobe. The reason why this is important is because I was telling my boyfriend that, I don't really have summer clothes because I tend to always stay inside during the summer. School's out. I really only was out of the house for school. So it's like I live a life now that I have not only time, but I have people in my life that, not to say the people in my life before didn't want to spend time with me outside of school, but I have the means and the freedom to actually go interact and, not just exist inside a house during all of summer. Like, I can go and do other things. I can go exercise. I can go to the park. I can go swim. I can go on vacation. I can go do a bunch of other things as well. But essentially, the most beautiful part of it is just that it's a step towards, instead of me just existing like I have been, I actually get to live. And that's really, really meaningful to me. So yeah. With that, thank you guys so much for listening. this is truly like a really big blessing for me, to be able to do this podcast, to be able to see the growth and the healing, for both myself and others. But as always, thank you all so much for listening in. As always, check me out on An Apple a Day, everywhere except for Twitter, where I have 2 Ys. But yeah, thank you guys so much for listening in. Check out my skincare brand, natural skincare brand, and you know, you ought to care about self-care, so why not? I'll leave it in the description. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next episode. Thank you, and bye-bye.